place where no one is seen as a stranger, where no one is ever faced with danger. A place that is gentle, kind and light, where nothing would ever trigger a fight. A place that is boundless and wide, where we walk with angels side by side. A place with smiles and happy tears, where our hearts are open and there are no more fears. A place where love is seen on every face and arms are open wide to embrace. A place where everyone measures the same, where you are true, and yet no one knows your name. A place where mysteries are explored, where truth is accepted and never ignored. A place where those of old age are wide-eyed and still learning, where time seems to rewind and to youth we are returning.
Pastor Norman.
Well, hey there, birthday mom.
How are you, young man?
I am doing great, in yourself.
I'm doing pretty good. A little under the weather, but I'm hanging in there. I got some kind of sinus infection or something that I'm dealing with, but I'm gonna get over it, and we're gonna be fine.
That's a true statement.
Yeah. So how you been? It's Sunday.
Busy.
Yeah.
Doing
Yeah,
this,
been
and
doing
that,
that.
doing this and that. Can't keep still.
You can't keep still.
That's what they. That's what they tell me.
You ain't been doing nothing.
What you preach on Sunday?
Well, I've been talking about the understanding the presence of God, and so I've been talking about the difference between being present and dealing with presence. We also talked about active.
You've been on that for a while, haven't you?
Oh no, actually no.
Seems like
Now, I've been dealing with
last
before,
week.
before that. I've been talking. I was dealing with the theological concept of Imago Dei, created in His image.
Okay. Okie dokie. It sounds good to me. I bet it was good to them too.
Oh yes.
I wanted to take time to thank everybody for wishing me a happy birthday on yesterday and sending me love gifts and all of that. And if you called me and I didn't answer the phone, please forgive me. I'm a little under the weather, so I didn't feel like talking. But thank you so much for remembering me. And we didn't do anything. We did. Went to the doctor yesterday because both of us had these, I don't know what the buggy issues we were dealing with. But anyway, we're okay. Hanging in there. And I didn't do anything special for my birthday, which I slept like this today. Last night I went to bed about, what was it, 10:30?
Mm-hmm.
What time I wake up today?
About 12.
Yeah. So,
I
must have needed it.
did text you that.
I think I needed it partly because baby girl had that surgery, and so she hasn't slept upstairs like she normally does, and her whole thing has been off. We've had to switch up. Dad slept downstairs with her one night. I slept down here with her a couple of nights. So that's what's been going on.
She don't want to go up the stairs anymore. That's the end of that.
But she's looking better. She's looking better. We got all the warts taken off her eyes, and she's doing pretty good.
She just scared to move up and down stairs.
Yeah. But it's okay. She whined a little bit last night and finally went to sleep. I went to sleep. I didn't hear anything. So anyway, let's see who's here. My sissy and my brother-in-law. Hey, y'all. How you doing? For those of you who don't know, this is Pastor Norman.
Hey there, everybody.
Pastor Norman's in South Carolina. We're in North Carolina, for those who don't know. And he's our spiritual son. He has his own ministry down there in South Carolina, Boulder Ministries, and doing well and flourishing. We're so pleased and proud of him. Glad to have him with us. Every Tuesday night, he comes, if he's available, he comes and spends some time with us, and we have a conversation. Let's see Kathy's here tonight. Hey, Kathy. And then there's Dee Dee and George. Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm going to say good morning. Good group. And then there's Sandra. Hey, Sandra. And she said her granddaughter, Nayeli, is watching. Well, hey, sweetheart. I'm glad to have you here with us. Yeah. Yeah. And Sister Pearl's here. Hey, Sister Pearl. Leslie's here. Leslie, I got your message, sweetie. I hope you got my text back. Yeah. Diaquiline's here today. Hey, Diaquiline. And
Everybody's here
Raquel.
today. What's going on? All you guys showing up?
John Greason's in the house.
Oh, greasy.
Pearl's asking about baby girl. Baby girl's coming along very well.
He laughed at that.
Easy greasing. I like that.
Oh, greasing.
Yeah, he says howdy doody. That's what he says, howdy
Howdy
doody.
doody.
You remember that show? Howdy doody?
Howdy doody show. Yeah, Mr. Buster.
Yeah.
And all.
You kind of look like howdy doody when you didn't have your mustache.
She done already told this crazy talk.
Baby girl's doing fine. She's her eyes are clearing up. Having to wash them and put antibiotics in her eyes. And she's doing well. She's doing good. She wants to play. Not playing a whole lot. It's too hot to play outside. Anyway, she's doing good. And then there's my sister. Thank you for letting me know. You can hear and see us. Somebody always tells us that, and she always remembers to tell us that because I don't remember that. Hey, Sister Phyllis and Edward. John Greason said, I hear it's hot in South Carolina.
Oh, yes. Yes. I actually had to call my AC guy yesterday to come check some things out for me. Because it had my thermostat was showing in the 80s on Sunday. And actually, I called him to try to be ahead of the game because it's going to be like that the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And it's nothing wrong with my AC at all. It's just that hot. So we've been having like the heat index like right at 114, 115. Now it's been pretty cool today, but because it's been
overcast.
But it's been.
It's like that here. It's hot here in the Carolinas, in North Carolina too. We just recently got more insulation put in our attic, so it's helped us a lot this year, hasn't it? Normally, it's really kind of hot up there when it's like this outside, but it's been very pleasant so far. I'm hoping it'll save us some save us on our electrical bill and all that. So it's working. It's the unit's not having to work as hard because it got so much more insulation in there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can relate. Usually, before we got the insulation up there, it would get really humid and hot, and we have to that unit would run. So now it's doing better. Thank God for that. The Lord made a way for us to do it.
We hope we get some rain because the grass is kind of becoming crunchy.
Well, here we got weeds galore, and from all of the rain that we've had, so. I'm kind of welcoming the fact that we don't have any rain, but I hear we may get a thunderstorm tonight. We did get that tree down, by the way.
Finally got it down.
Yeah. The boys came in and got that tree down and
finished it up yesterday.
We got a stump now that we need to get ground up, but it's gone. It's gone. And he was saying that the guy told him that the lightning went all the way down to the root of the tree. We couldn't see that, but when he cut it, he could see it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That wow. I'm telling you.
And I guess what we were talking about was
must have been too powerful.
It's been too powerful for that monkey up in the tree.
That monkey said, "We got to get rid of it."
Cause some disturbances. That's what you did.
You must have hit something that didn't we?
Hey, Virginia, how you doing, honey bun? She said, happy belated birthday to me. Thank you, darling. She said she turned 78 on the 24th. Wow.
Whoa.
We're getting up there. We're getting on
up. Catch up with you, girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can celebrate this human experience. Exactly. So I don't know what we're going to talk about tonight. You guys got something good? Y'all got something good?
Y'all,
you and Pastor Norma. You, Pastor Norma, always got.
Okay.
Oh my God!
I got something.
What you got?
Come on with it.
A hot dog with lettuce and tomatoes. Questions. that our acts have never been, it's never dawned on us that the only question that are answered is a perfect question. And I never thought about it. I got my old notes here when I was journaling in my telephone book here.
The telephone bill.
Yeah, my numbers and things. Ask the question. Ask one question that will move your inner program and move your inner program directed.
Can you read your own writing?
Wait a minute, I'm trying to put it together where I got it here. I was shorthanded.
Yeah, I
And
know.
sometimes when this stuff comes, I can't get it on the paper
It's
fast
fresh,
enough.
and then you jibble it down. Can't remember
Yeah.
what it's saying.
It must come, every question must come from the eternal self. And down underneath that, the question must be an eternal self question going back to the eternal self. And we were talking about there's no one else here. When you really go into this Christ identity, the only way you can do this is by the eternal question from an eternal self that can only answer the eternal self.
Mm-hmm.
And what this dimension has done coming here is moved our attention away from the perfect self. We used to hear all kinds of fights and cussing and shooting and moonshining in the liquor shotgun house. Somebody would always come up, ain't nobody perfect but Jesus. Ain't nobody perfect but God. But then as I began to investigate into the mysteries of the question and the mystery of who is asking the question, and here's another thing that I'm going to say this to you guys. I'm talking now about waking up from all questions that seem to be asked about how did Noah get the ark? How did God speak to him? How did Noah communicate with the animals? And it all boiled back to, I got a whole lot coming to me now, but it always go back to who asked the question and who is God talking to when he talked to the animals. We've been taught there's different kinds of life of birds, life of trees, life of fish, and life of all kinds of animals. But then when I really this thing began to unfold, my chin dropped and I said, what? You mean this life that's in the tree that we cut down came from us?
It's the same life.
It's the same life.
Yeah.
It's not 4 or 5, 50 varieties of life. It's only life that is the life of Christ.
And I don't know if anybody else has ever wondered about this, but when we talk about the same life in that tree that's in us, or the same essence, and we talk about the essence of a tree in the acorn, that full-grown tree is in that acorn.
Oak tree.
My logical mind, left brain, you would call me, is okay. How is it resident inside of that acorn? How is that full-grown tree resident inside of that acorn? Just like how is that butterfly resident inside that caterpillar?
Now that butterfly you're talking about. This is interpretation of surrender.
Okay.
When you can't surrender what is already surrendered.
True. So I asked the question, not openly, but internally, as what does it reside in that acorn? As what? So in the essence of God in and as us, as what is that inside these forms, or is it even inside these forms? And I'm beginning to understand it is not a it's not a physical thing inside of that acorn. The only thing that is in that acorn is energy.
Mm-hmm.
The energy and the program that causes that energy to manifest a form.
Now, this is the mystery of this thing. You're hitting that good. An acorn, in my investigation, when I was doing a lot of praying in tongues, praying in the spirit, I didn't know that the acorn that fell off of the tree is a perfect photographic copy of the tree that it fell off of inside the acorn.
It is. It's a replica.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It is. It is. Just as we are replicas of God itself. And that's why Pastor Norman using this scripture a lot of times in Psalms where it talks about you are gods. He says outright, we are gods. So that means we are replicas, derivatives, whatever you want, extensions, whatever words you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
We are in fact the same energy that God is.
Mm-hmm.
We're the same energy that God is in these compacted forms. And that's mind-blowing. And it's also perplexing because my logical mind says, if that's the case, then why don't I have more power over all of these elements and things that are going on? But at the same time, I remember God in its essence, unmanifest form, is watching the whole thing, and we're inside of the mind of God. God's not interfering with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
He's allowing everything to just happen.
Exactly.
I question these things because there's something in the mind feeling that's asking the same question over and over again. Now watch this.
It is.
God hears and answers prayer. I wonder who is this that's asking and receiving. You know, when in the book it said, ask anything in my name
Mm-hmm.
and he'll do it. But now who's doing the asking?
And not only that, to be honest and to be very, very honest, is to know that there have been many, many things we've asked in his name that didn't happen. So as you said, who or what is it that's asking so that the prayer is or is not answered? But Pastor Norman got his face.
No, because again, it never fails. This is some of the things that I was talking about on this weekend. But again, we already established the fact that when it says ask in his name, it has nothing to do with us articulating a verbal command or whatever by using his name. It makes, again, it's in reference to his essence. So if I'm asking anything in his name, I'm asking things in the person of Christ, not trying to use his name as a like a green card or whatever, or something other like that. No, yeah. I'm asking as him.
Yes,
that's right.
I'm asking as him, and that's what he was making. Because remember, in John chapter 15, verse 7 and 8, he said, "If you abide in me and I abide in you, you can ask what you will, and it shall be done." He is talking about asking as him. Yes. So that means we don't ask anything in reference of separation. Okay, my name is Norman, but I'm going to ask for something in the name of Jesus, and that's not what he's talking about. That's a whole total thing. I love how Dad started it, the whole thing about asking the perfect question, because one of the things when we have been conditioned to think that when you ask a question, you're looking for the right answer. A perfect question has nothing to do with trying to discover the right answer. It initiates a journey of deeper thought or critical thinking. So it actually sends you on a journey of deeper understanding.
Yeah.
When I talk to you, the mind, the finite mind, finite self, is conditioned to think that I'm talking to Norman or Sawyer and God ain't nowhere around because I can't feel or sense
There's no
his
evidence.
presence. There's no evidence.
Evidence of
But
his presence.
here's the mystery behind this. The mystery is when one, that put it like this, the ooh, boy, this thing's something. I don't need to talk to God because I'm talking to God. To say it another way, I'm wondering, is God hearing me? All right, let's go back again, start over. If I am in the Father and the Father in me, who was Jesus talking to when he talked to the Father? Then he turns around and say, somebody turn around and say, well, you know, he always said in John 20, 30, or something like that, it says, I and the Father are one.
John 10:30. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, if the Father and him is one, Jesus turned around and said, he that have seen me, show us the Father. That suffices us, whatever that word was. Show us the Father that it will satisfy us. And he said, have I, have I not so long been with you, and you have not known me? He that have seen me have seen the Father. Now, we won't say that because we are stuck. Please excuse my expression when I say this. We think everybody is a nigger. Until you find out what the definition of nigger is, you can find that in anything. That's anything. A nigga is anything that don't recognize his true identity.
Can you say ninja instead of
Okay, ninja. Okay, ninja. Yeah, but you laugh. I'm telling you what. I'm telling you the best way I can say it.
You caught me off guard.
That's what it is. You're caught off guard when God reveals himself to you. The only way you can find where Jesus really is when God surrendered any surrender that is not coming from the perfect self is a false surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Because I cannot breathe the breath of God unless it is the breath of God that's breathing, or the breath of God is himself breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds like we're playing an oxymoron.
Well, it's funny that you said, because that's actually what I preached at another church on Friday night, the difference breathing on versus breathing in. And so when you breathe on, that is an experience. Everybody has that type of experience. But when you breathe in, it's an impartation that's actually being made. And so we even see that through scriptures. Because remember, before the Pentecost, Jesus had actually breathed upon the disciples, and it said they had received the Holy Ghost. So if they had received the Holy Ghost, why did they need to experience again? So there was a difference of breathing on and breathing in. Dad, you said something about God revealing himself. In all actuality, and you've said it before, but again, because of the limitation of our vocabulary, describe something that's so eternal. If God is omnipresent, he never has to reveal himself. It's just that we become, because we operate out of separation, we are not actively aware. And that's what I was explaining to the people on Sunday. There's a difference between being actively aware and inactive aware.
Yeah.
So you mentioned presence. A lot of people, they say that God is omnipresent, but they don't understand the love affair in the whole aspect of it. Mom is sitting right there next to you right now. She's present. She could be, that's dealing with her physical location.
Yeah.
But while she's there, are you experiencing her presence? In essence, we hear the statement off the time when a person walks in a room, their presence commands the room.
Demands, yeah.
That means everybody attention is on there. So I was giving that example how someone could walk in a room. We could be sitting in a restaurant, cafeteria, eating. Somebody walks in. We continue to do what we was always doing. but someone of notoriety or a celebrity or someone famous walks in, everything stops. Then all eyes is on this particular person. So now you are actively aware of this person, but the other person, you was inactively aware of them.
Yes,
And so when we know that God is present, but because of us not being aware, because of what has happened through separation, have not been experiencing his presence.
yes, yes. And what you're actually talking about, and I want to get to something else while we're talking too, is you're talking about something God can be present but not imminent.
Exactly.
So we've experienced God in three different aspects, I should say, maybe more. I'm just using this as an example. God transcendent is the man upstairs, everywhere. This is what everybody, God everywhere. But then there's God present, and like you said, present, but then a deeper awareness of it is God being imminent, meaning he's not just present, I am experiencing that presence. And it is now very viable to me. So this is what you're talking about. I'm going to go back to, and we got some good comments. I wanted to not acknowledge them. Jacqueline mentioned earlier about the acorn and the oak, that they're the same, but they're different states of being. And that could be very well true. There is a difference.
It's a word. She's trying to, Jacqueline, what you're saying is very to the mind, left brain reason, sophisticated reason. It's hard to word something.
Verbalize, yes.
Put it like that. It's hard to word something that is the word. Isness is beingness, and beingness is isness.
Yes.
So when an acorn fall off a tree, now here's take the rest of this. When we go into it now, the acorn, when it hits the ground, it came in contact with everything that it is made out of. The miracle power of God is in the earth.
It actually came in contact with that will activate it into coming into manifestation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because everything that goes through a stage of metamorphosis or evolution, one state has to die for the other state to be born. And that's why I did like that, because in order for that acorn full potential to begin to manifest, it has to die. And so I'm reminded of what Jesus said: unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and die, it stands alone.
So if that tells me that if I parallel it and use it in relation to our spiritual walk, that if we try to hold on to that state of being that we already presently have, we will abide alone, and we will not experience the expansion of our full potential, which is to allow this state to be dissolved so that we can be activated into that manifested form. So that I see it in that way. Also, Brenda said this. She says, I thought that was a racist comment. I guess she was referring to ninjas.
Yeah.
But it means not that we don't know our very breath essence. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So, and I was thinking about that as well. The word that we use, the N word, I'll say the N word, is because it makes those of us who have been called that negatively uncomfortable when it's said in front of those that have probably used that negatively against those of us who heard it. So there's a tension that arises just
I
from
can feel it now when I say it. When I say it, I can feel it. I can
just
sense
from the word. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. But I wanted to go back to, we were talking about praying. And there's a scripture in Isaiah 65:24 where he says, before you call, I've answered. So
from what position does he answer? That's what we say.
Before you call, I've answered. And he said, while you're yet speaking, I've heard.
Yes.
And so that means the prayers that we prayed, and I wrote it on my little note here. There are prayers that are being answered that we didn't even make a request for.
Oh.
You hear that? There are prayers that are being answered that we did not even make a conscious request for. So there are things that are unfolding for our good that we didn't even have a clue about it was going to come up and be presented to us. And so when he said all things are there and work for the betterment of our good, all things working for our good. So there's this law in motion that God has already put in motion that is constantly working to bring good out for us. And we're not even asking for certain things. We're not even asking for it, but it's happening. So I've come to an understanding that very few of my spoken prayers are answered as much as those prayers that are being answered that I haven't prayed. You understand what I'm saying? And so when we talk about praying in the name of Jesus, praying in the nature of Jesus or whatever, it isn't so much focused on our ability to say it right or do it right. The answer to the prayers has very little to do with how we perform. And so it has everything to do with the law that God has put in motion to make things work out for our good.
Exactly. And it's funny that you said that, because you just mentioned Romans 8:28, all things work together for our good. But see, right before that verse, you have verse 27, where it deals with the whole concept of when we don't know what to pray for, the Spirit of the Lord, help with our firmly with groans and moans that cannot be uttered. But he says, it is the Spirit that knows the mind of the Spirit, and both spirits are capitalized, which means I know what's in my mind. Yes. All right. And he intercedes on behalf of the saints according to the will of God, which means what you just said. There are things that we consciously are not aware of asking or praying or giving, sending forth a request or petition, but it's the Spirit of God itself. And that's why all things are worked together for our good. So we're getting blessed with things we never even asked for.
And didn't have the presence of mind to ask for. And I think that what we're touching on is that the law, as Brenda said, the law of love, it's a comforting because God understands that we don't know how to pray for as we ought. That was placed in there to let us know. I understand you really don't know how to pray. I understand that there are things that are happening around you in your life. You don't know how to pray for that.
Here's a good one. The book says, if I pray in the Spirit or pray in tongues, which a lot of people don't go for, I speak not unto me, but I speak unto God. Here's another statement that comes out. My Lord speaks unto my Lord, which means, I heard Reverend Ike say years ago, we are lords, not paupers.
Yeah, it goes back to what we said in the very beginning. The scriptures tell us you are God's, which means you're derivatives, you're the essence of, you're the image of, you're descendant of, you're whatever God is, you are.
Now, here I am standing up in front of the street here, a man's house. He's a fireman. And his mother is still living, and she comes down here and she helps us out in the yard.
She's the mother of the fireman.
And she's the mother of the fireman. And the fireman came out of her and is standing there looking back. Yeah, the fireman came out of his mom.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that. I'm saying it, and the reason why I'm saying it over and over again, because I am determined by God's determination to do what the acorn will do if it lays on the ground long enough. It'll die. In order for that acorn to become a visible replica of the tree that it fell off of, it must die. Now, you look down at acorns all over the street.
Yep.
They will not die unless they fall upon that is geometrically identified with itself. If there's some in the street, they were meant to cease to exist in this entire dimension. Watch this. There's a strong one there. That means the clue to this mystical self is when God wakes up to himself, he wakes up to nothing else existing other than himself.
Exactly.
All conditionings are diminished.
Yes.
All right. Now, watch out now. all conditions. There is no more heaven and hell. It's just God. Let me tell you something. When I saw Jesus the first time, I kept wondering. I was praying every night. I prayed the Lord's prayer. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come.
That's what you used to do.
That's what I used to say. I didn't know how to talk to myself. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to talk to God. But that last night, when I got down on my knees, it was cold as
as you would say,
as
a lily dilly.
And a lily dilly ice cream pop.
I don't know what that has. What is a lily dilly?
It's an ice cream that we used to call it. It had different flavors in it.
It's an actual ice
yeah.
cream.
My mom used to say, I like to have a lily dilly.
I ain't never heard that before. I've heard of Napoleon, but I ain't heard.
And his mom used to call it paddle pop. So
paddle pop and lily dilly.
What? Never heard those.
And I didn't know that when
it was cold as a lily dilly.
Yeah, it was froze. But God thawed himself out. But in order for him to thaw himself out, he has to wake up to being called different names and different identities. But you ever notice, I can take my dog right now and call her a monkey. I can call her a snake. I can call her a bear. She'll just sit there and look at me. And I say,
I think God is shocked when he woke up and realized he was me.
Just as shocked as you waking up finding out that you are really him.
I think God was shocked when he woke up
and this is saying this is not with animosity. When I taught you the word nigger or nigger and all that, I'm not saying that you are a misrepresentation of identity. In other words, when you use that word toward anybody, the only part of them that hear it is the mind.
Well, sure.
Oh, wait, let's go back.
Yeah.
If God did hear it as the true self, he's not moved with anger.
Yes, that's true. The tension is in our own conditionings. It's coming from our own conditioning. I wanted to talk about just a little bit, not a whole lot. I just want to point out, I was sharing with him this week, there's about what the voice in the head says to each of us. The voice in the head that we heard when we were growing up, the conversations we heard, or I should say, and we call it in the terminology nowadays, it's self-talk. Mm-hmm. What's your inner self-talk? And I'm dealing with that because I'm dealing with the self-talk, the voice in my own head. Just of late, it's like it's stuck its head up, and I'm hearing it and I'm noticing it. I'm aware of it. I know it's not true. I know it's absolutely not true. However, it is staring me in the face, just staring me in the face, and I'm hearing it loud and clear. And I'm having to ignore it as I hear it. And it's really difficult to ignore it because I have for so long believed it. Mm-hmm. And so the voice in your head, the one that I have in my head, just for transparency's sake, to give you an example. In my growing up years, being the oldest in the house, and mom and dad dysfunctionally trying to parent us, I ended up being the parent most of the time. And therefore, in doing so, I had to be responsible for everybody, and everybody came before me. Their needs came before mine. And so a lot of times my needs didn't matter. So the voice in my head now as an adult is still, you don't matter. Wow. And so when I hear that voice, it's like all of life situations begin to mirror it and point it out and try to make me believe that that is true. Because different events start happening that says, see, you really don't matter. And so the voice in the head is what I'm dealing with. The voice in the head that comes from the conversations you've heard in your past, the patterns of behavior that you had to endure in your childhood up to the point of being an adult. And those conversations will cause you to go to the extreme to try to shut them out or they'll cause you to act out because you believe in what you hear, what you're hearing inside yourself. It's not true, but it is still there and very loud. I mean, shouting loud. And so I'm beginning to understand that I don't have to try to snuff it out, but I cannot allow myself to believe it.
Thank you, Mom. You just identified one of the layers of my life that needed to be put. I never saw it like that. Because I too deal with those thoughts
I
now.
think we all do.
I don't matter,
Dan
but
and I talked about it. He's got a voice in his head that tells him stuff. And that same voice that's in his head and the voice in my head, they conflict because it makes my voice, the voice in my head makes his voice in his head go off.
Mhm.
And vice versa.
But see, the similarity is what got me because I am the oldest.
Yes.
And at the same time, not just the oldest between my brother and I, but I was the oldest grandchild.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the others, I had to be the one to watch, babysit, do all these different things.
So
And when
then
they would,
you start
and then
putting
because
it
I was the
back.
oldest, they would just do something wrong. I'll get beat.
So all your needs came secondary.
Exactly. And
So as
yeah,
an adult, when you become an adult and that voice in the head is still shouting that, you begin to feel like you're not important. You're to anyone, that your needs are not valid or significant. And that causes us to react a certain way and respond a certain way. So I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that to get anybody to sympathize with me. I'm not doing that. I just want to make sure that everybody knows we all have a voice in the head.
mm-hmm.
Now, some people say they don't have it. They do.
You help us to identify the voices based off of certain things that we was unaware of. Actually, we were conditioned by things that we went through in our life, especially in our younger age. And that's why I said it hit me, because now I know I am able to identify where that's coming from. I didn't realize I'm the oldest child, oldest grandchild. I'm the one that looked out for him. I was the one that this and that and that and so forth. So it made sense to me after you shared that. Yeah.
And it is internalized. And I like what Brenda's saying, and she's even pointing it out to the fact that it can affect your health, autoimmune disease, because I have that same issue. So I understand exactly what you're saying. The self-talk is what is being that is what's blocking the actual answer and solutions. Self-talk. And so
Okay. Here I am talking to my neighbor, and he's a fireman. I didn't finish that, but he's a fireman. And while I was standing there talking to him, I was asking him about a pressure washer to clean my walkway out here. And he said he had one, but he said it don't work. It's something got to be repaired in it. And while I'm standing there, I heard the word just as clear. And now I found out what it means to locate the ear of your spirit, the ear of your eternal self. And I heard the word Tim. I said, Tim. I told Tim, I said, I hear your name, Tim. He said, Reverend Sawyer, you mean to tell me you didn't know my name? I said, yes, I know your name is Tim. And I said, but this Tim that I'm talking about is like an angel. And he told me, he said, you're talking about, and I also told him, I said, I kept seeing something being repaired or something on one of the fire trucks at the station. Give or take a little, maybe, it may not. He said, well, whatever it is, I hope they got it fixed before I go back to work. But I heard the word Tim again. And what he finally told me, he said, what you're seeing is that we had an incident to take place, and he was standing on top of the fire truck, the cab, pressure washing, not pressure washing, but putting out fires, and he said, I stepped backwards. And when he stepped backward, he was stepping off of the hood of the cab of the fire truck. And no sooner than his feet hit the air, there was a young man that he calls his angel. They called each other angel. Tim stepped off backwards. And before he could get his feet in the air, this boy that worked with him named Tim caught him in midair and saved his life. Now, here's the moral of the story. Who is this masked rider? Who is this man on the white horse? Who is this man that caught himself in the midair from losing his suit or his body? If religion and Christianity read and understood the theory or the truth or no truth of Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection, they would understand there's a man in a man, a woman in a woman. Every woman that's in a woman is the Virgin Mary, the Immaculate Conception.
That's the Christ in everyone.
And everything in a man that gives himself on a personal basis to give birth to a body or a child is the Holy Immaculate Mother Mary for the girls and the Christ self. That's why that picture is painted where she's holding the Christ baby in her arms. That's him as her holding herself in her arms, and her name was Jesus, as well as his name was Jesus. But the mind differentiates, separates. Jesus is the man, Mary is the mother, but they were still both sides.
Missing the essence of what we're talking about.
Essence,
the same essence in every last one.
Yeah.
And it's not a different one, it's the same one. I like Jill said she just had a conversation with her mom yesterday about that everyone has a choice to believe that voice in their heads.
Now.
Yes, you do. You have a choice. You can fall into it and allow the emotions to just get stirred up and believe it and start to believe that nobody loves you, nobody cares. And if you do that, you are going to snowball into depression. So you have a choice. You have the power to make that choice.
Yes.
Now I'm going to say something that's real strong right here. I'm going to back off now. My Lord speaks unto my Lord. Who was it in Galatians 2:20? Who was it that went to the cross and died? And who was it that was buried in a tomb? And who was it that came out? I kept seeing Jesus going in the tomb, and the entrance of the tomb had turned into not a stone over the entrance. And I saw a revolving door. And every time you go in a revolving door in one of these stores, you go in one side and it'll keep turning. And if you stay there, you're going to have to move because that other side of the door going to bump you in the butt. So it's going to push you back out. I kept seeing Jesus going into the tomb and coming out, going into the tomb, going. And he brought it to my attention. Who is this masked rider, the Lone Ranger? He looks like, some people you say the Lone Ranger and Superman in the old movies, the black and white movies, was brothers. Clark Kent and all them was the same man. He just disguised himself. I said, that's foolish. Anybody ought to know, anybody to work at the Daily Planet goes to a telephone booth, takes his glasses off, look around and see who's looking at him, and change clothes. And where is the clothes that he's wearing located? The same suit that he worked in at the Daily Planet is the same suit that he's wearing to turn into Superman. Superman.
Those some great comments that's on there too.
Oh Lord.
We got
Who is that?
We got some good comments.
Marvita.
Yeah, Marvita.
Oh, Lord.
I was looking for something because you brought my attention back to something, but let's see what they're saying here.
Look at that's a long one.
Yeah, Marvita, up here, Marvita.
Yeah.
Let's see what Marvita. Marvita, hey, sweetheart, I'm glad you're here with us tonight. Let me get to where I can see.
Mother's womb.
She said, I believe this is what is called the mother's womb in metaphysics. It is the deep voice that our mothers didn't protect us from. I deal with a voice that says I'm an outsider. Yeah. That has kept me blocked from relationships. Yeah, and until you realize that's what's blocking you, It will. I had an aunt tell me when I was 3, my parents didn't want me. That's why I struggle in all relationships. If my parents didn't want me, who would? The voice in my head, even though in the depths of my soul, I know that it's false. Okay. And that's the thing. You know that it's false, but it doesn't shut it up. It doesn't shut it up.
God does not have to have consent from the monkey mind or anybody. He does not have to consent to changing who he is in us as us, just because there's a part of us that don't believe it.
Right.
That's the reason why Galatians 2:20 says, the faith that I now have is the faith of the Son of God.
Yes.
I am, you are, I am the same son and daughter of God, the Holy Mother. They don't believe in that. That's Catholicism. That's false. That's demonic. Call it what you want. But you ain't, like I said about my dog, you can call my puppy, you can call her a cow, a moose, a goose, a loose.
And she does it. She
Loosey goosey.
because there is no mind there. Because there is no mind there that would attach to it. And so that's why.
I can tell her, I said, you're mean. She don't pay no attention. But now, here's one thing I realized. I have to be careful about what I say around her, because she understands.
Even though she doesn't understand the words, she understands the energy.
The frequency.
Exactly.
Energy.
Exactly.
And so this is what we're talking about. Actually, that's what this whole conversation tonight has been about. The actual energy that we are inside these forms, and how that energy is being, and I'll put it like this: the self-talk or the voice in the head is trying to talk us out of being that energy.
Exactly.
That's the thing. It's trying to talk us out of being that we are, which is the descendants, the derivatives, the essence of God. It's trying to talk us out of our own divinity.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Which causes us to not be conscious of his presence.
Exactly. And the only block there is to the answers of prayer that we were talking about in the very beginning is not so much how we perform and how we say it or how we word it, or whether or not we even believe at the moment we pray that is Jesus praying or the Christ praying. It's because the block of the voice in the head is telling us that we can't get that prayer answered.
Exactly.
It's counteracting everything we try to do until we realize this is what is happening. Once we realize that's what's happening, we have a choice, and that choice has to be made. Am I going to be that one, or am I going to be the divinity that I know I am?
Watch Pentecost.
That's the adversary.
Yes.
Watch Pentecost.
And when you talk about Satan, it's never capital S in the Bible. It's a small s. So Satan is not the name of the devil.
It's the accuser.
It means an adversary. An adversary, not the adversary, an adversary, which means the voice in my head is the only adversary that I'm fighting. Oh my God.
She popping, Dad. She popping.
The voice in the head is the only adversary. It's the only one.
That's the one that spoke to Adam and Eve in the garden.
Which means it's funny how, again, we go back to dealing with entertainment, which means all of the cartoons, the animation with the angel on one side and the little devil on the other side, is giving a depiction of what's going on in our head. And then we have to make a choice. Exactly.
And see, the thing is, Jesus showed us that the scriptures show us that in the wilderness. Whether the story is true or not, it's accurate. Jesus went in there to defeat the voice in his head. The voice in his head was telling him one thing, and if he believed it, he would never have come out in power.
Elijah the prophet, chariot. Well, some people call him Elijah and Elisha. Elias. It was two of them.
Yeah, it was.
And he stood there. One of them stood there and watched the other one being taken away on a chariot of fire. Now, there's another word for that chariot.
There is. The Merkabah.
The Merkabah, they call it. If you look up
It's
the
what
history,
the prophets ride in to go into other dimensions. Yeah.
prophets ride on that. They travel in other dimensions.
Mhm.
That was symbolic in the Old Testament of the father side of the high self of Jesus that picked him up and took him away from this world. When Elijah and Moses appeared in the transfiguration, they stepped from inside of Jesus. And the disciples found out where the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of God was inside of the body of Jesus in the form of a suit that was covering up. What is it? Talk to me now.
No, I'm seeing the comment section with John Greason talking about that was a spaceship.
Well, now,
It really was, John. It
I
really
know.
was. It
okay,
really was.
let me tell you about this. When I was on the other
It
side,
really was.
I went up a pole, an aluminum pole, like you see out on the side of the highway with the power wires in it.
Mhm.
I woke up in that three-dimensional self. I saw myself go up one of those poles like swirling stairs. I went to somebody's house one time and I said, these swirling stairs in their house remind me of the stairs that I walked up. I saw myself walk up one of those poles up on the other side of the cloud and stand on a highway in the sky.
Mhm.
Now, Skywalker, that's what you call them. I walked in the sky. I walked on the highway in the sky. But when I got to the end of that road, that highway, the papa inside of me and the universe said, it's not time yet. And I
Mhm.
went back to the beginning of where I went up in that pole. But before I could get to the pole, I had to ride in a spaceship. I saw and sat down on a spaceship that was made out of 1 Corinthians 12, all the 9 gifts of the Spirit. The controlling mechanism of this ship that I was on, the Merkabah, they call it. You can call it a flying saucer, whatever you want, a flying plate, or a flying cup, or a flying spoon, a
Well,
flying,
it's the same thing that
a flying fork.
it's the same thing that Daniel talked about, the fiery chariot. It's the
Yeah.
same thing, yes.
And
I
it's,
sat
and
down in it and controlled it all the way back to the entrance where I came up.
it
Now, I wanna-
also is what Enoch, the vehicle that Enoch actually wrote, because
Yeah.
if in the book of Enoch, it talks about all the times that he would travel with the watchers and so
Yeah.
forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now it's funny because again, here goes back to Hollywood, and of course, y'all are Trekkies like me as well, Star Wars and all that stuff. But with those spaceships, it gets to a point where when it goes that super speed or it jumps to another dimension, they call it jumping.
Yeah.
They
Quantum
said
Quantum leap.
there you go, and that's actually what happens in the realm of the supernatural, dealing with how they was able to jump from one dimension to another. So our things that actually happen, we are creating and put it in movies that we think would be entertained, but there's some truth to it.
Yeah.
What
I
did
wanted to mention something that Marvita brought out about the voice in the head. One of the things I wanted to say about the voice in the head is that it will make you say and do things that will solidify and maintain the belief that it is true. So even when you know it's not true, it will make you in your you're acting out. You will say things that will cause people to mirror exactly what that voice in the head is saying. It will cause you to say and do things that will cause relationships to fail because of the voice that's saying, and then it'll say, yes, I told you that's the way it is. It is an adversary. It is Satan in the head speaking to you, trying to rob you of your divinity. That's what it's doing. And she said, I believe the more we learn into, the more we leaning into what we know, the softer the voice gets.
read what your sister said?
I will.
Have you
Where
didn't see it?
Not only
Did I miss it?
Scroll, yeah, you missed it.
not only is it the adversary, it's a trickster.
There it is.
That's all it can do is trick you into doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it is.
Yeah.
And Jesus confronted his own adversary, in the wilderness. That's what that was to depict to us. It wasn't so much to tell us about a devil that's outside of us that's going to try to trick us. No, this is about the voice in the head. This voice in his head was telling him to do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was saying, if you be, if you be, if
Yeah.
you be,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you be,
Yeah.
if you be, if you be. And it's the same thing in our heads, if you be. But then it's also trying to tell us, make us believe that what that conditioning is saying is trying to make us believe that that is true. And it is not. And you said to say what Renee said.
Yeah. She said that she
My
did.
sister,
Mhm.
yeah, Sissy knows this. She said she didn't even realize she had a sister until she got older because I was the mama. I played the mother role. We didn't relate as sisters.
No, they didn't.
She was my baby. I had to take care of her, and
Her and her brother.
she related to me that way. Even though I had a mama in the house, I had to play the role for all of the times that my mom couldn't do it and she was dysfunctional. I had to do it. And so because of that, we didn't have a sister-sister relationship until we got grown.
Wow.
So this is how the conditionings that we go through affect us even in our adulthood. And so it's important to know that you have a voice in the head that's trying to stop you from being your divine self. That's important to know.
Now, here you're understanding the left side and the right side of the brain, or the left and right side of the highway. I didn't go across the street where we live because it was a main street in Winston-Salem with tractor and trailers and all cars going up and down Church Street. But when I got old enough with my toys, I took a chance on watching the traffic to make sure it was clear before I went across the street. When I did, I got over across the street and looked back. I could see what was looking back at me on both sides of the highway or the street. I was on both sides in a three-dimensional, watching myself, looking back at myself from the other side of the street. Well, it got to the place where I could cross the street anytime I wanted to. That means this: in your sleep at night, I tell people all the time, do not call the word dream that you are having in your sleep at night. Do not call it a dream. You are not dreaming. You are traveling. You are actually a multidimensional being, like somebody talked about baby girls. Is John Greason said something about baby girls bilingual, that she's more bilingual than you think.
Yeah, of course.
The mind thinks.
Yes. Yeah.
God does not. It talks in the book about God's thoughts and not our thoughts. That's telling us from one point of view that the reason why God thought is our thought, because the belief
You're going into town.
I'm gonna read my poem when I had my first awakening of my co-identity with Christ. And you guys have heard it before, but I'm going to read it again. I just want to read it again. But Brenda was saying our minds are so powerful, good and bad, not good or bad, but good and bad. And so we have the capacity to allow the adversary to live through and by us, or we have the capacity to allow Christ to live through and by us. We have that, and we are able to make the choice. A lot of us act like we can't make the choice, but we can make that choice. I don't have to live in that hurt, feeling unworthy feeling. I don't have to live there. I don't have to live there. If I live there, it's about choice. And it's because I've gotten so familiar with it, and I like to play the victimhood.
Yeah. Now
if I like to play the victim, I'll work it and nurse on it for a long time. But if I realize I don't want to be the victim, I won't stay in it.
Lavelle Crawford, the comedy guy, said before he lost weight, he'd go to make a Burger King, and he said that when he ordered a sandwich, he ordered the burger's got two patties, or just a big thick meat
The biggest he could get.
So he got the biggest he could
'Cause he
get.
was heavy.
And he said, and he got 2 of them. He said, I want 2 of them. And so he said, you said on your sign, have it your way. So I want you to take those burgers, put them on top of each other, and snatch the middle, the bread and the 2 in the middle, snatch the bread out and just put 2 meat together. So what he did, he put it together and made one big burger, mashed it all down. And he said, the lady said, we don't do stuff like that. At the one day, he said, well, your sign said have it my way. And so I want it my way. I want 2 of 3 patty burgers, 2 separate burgers, and snatch the bread out between the middle of it and make one sandwich. Oh, so the middleman is that voice in your head that makes you think you are not perfect, you're not right, you're not on target, you miss God, you backslide. Pull the bread out between the meat.
Now, wait a minute. Ham sandwich you come up with this.
Nah, I can't follow that one. He loves me on that one.
How did that come?
I'm really thinking about.
What does that got to do with?
He said they went to the restaurant to eat. The man had to make them leave. They were eating.
Just
I'm sitting here thinking about the monkey in the middle. He talking about bread.
Lord have mercy, boy. Anyway, back about 50 years ago, we were talking about this. You talked about you kept seeing Jesus go in and out of the tomb.
Yeah.
And you made me think about this.
Yeah.
And this is the first I wrote this poem. This is one of the first.
Consciousness and unconsciousness.
Yeah. This poem I wrote because it was my first awareness of my co-identity with Christ. Okay, I'm gonna read it right quick. Don't start nothing else. Please don't start it. Anyway, I titled it Co-Identity. All right. And don't stop laughing. You're laughing at yourself.
Yeah.
You realize that, right?
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Well, my Lord speaketh unto my Lord.
Yeah, John said Sawyer's analogies. Yes, I don't know where they come from. I don't know where he comes. He reaches up out of somewhere and pulls them down. I don't know where they come from.
Well, what the man said is
Yeah, but I don't know how that fit in with anything.
and mashed all them hamburgers together, made one big sandwich.
Anyway, going in and out of the tomb. Can you go back to that? Can you go back to that for a minute? Okay. Can you go back? Try to get your drinking water.
Okay.
This is co-identity. Wandering, lonely, cast aside and lost till the glorious day of my Pentecost. Jesus himself died for me when God in his omniscience did foresee my sins even 2,000 years before, the pain and the suffering he bore. Yes, all this was done for me when Jesus died on Calvary. No longer do I need forgiveness for future sins, for mine were all future way back then. Past and present and future wrongs are cast into the sea where they belong. And in him I was crucified. There on Golgotha I also died. The burden of guilt I no longer bear, for Jesus and I were buried there. In that lonely, dark, forsaken tomb, similar to a mother's womb, like a baby, I was born when Jesus rose that Easter morn. Oh, how the glory did shine. Heaven and earth I knew were mine. When he ascended, he wasn't alone, because I went with him to the throne.
Hot dog.
That was good.
Hot dog. Bake my cake.
Yeah. Bake your cake. Now that's not all. That's not all.
Go ahead.
There seated with him, I am resting. And it's not me the devil's testing. Though I walk and talk like me, I have a new identity. When my body I gave as a living sacrifice, it became no longer I that live, but Christ.
Somebody greased my pan, based my bacon sandwich, and put it on the oven.
Sandwich again. That's sandwich again. It's not sandwich, it's sandwich.
Our sandwich. I didn't come up with them fancy.
You must be getting you a sandwich later on.
You heard of an ice cream sandwich.
Oh, of course.
look, guys, we've been on here an hour and 9 minutes. I hope you had gotten something good out of this conversation. Unless you guys got something else.
John Grease, he third. My mom used to.
I put you and John in the same room. I tell you, I don't know.
I went to Lowe's today to pick up some saw blade for my saber saw that would cut heavy steel metal. I'm working on my 12-wheel trike.
He's got another project.
Yeah, I got a project. But now I heard the voice of my true self before we moved to Kernersville, putting up banisters on the steps. And my intention was to make banisters with the swirl on the end of it, like in the old houses, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was trying to get that wood to bend, and I found out how I could bend wood, would wet it and soak it and put it under pressure. It'll bend and not break if you have the right stuff to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Jesus laughing inside of me. I didn't know that it was him rebuilding the step and him that was putting the nails. To see, during that time, we didn't use screws. We used nails and a hammer. And it's amazing that houses that were built during that time when we were little, these houses was put together with real 2x4s.
Mm-hmm.
And now they got that synthetic stuff that they build in the house with, and it ain't worth a fat baby's butt. And so they start using screw.
Where are you going with this? Where are you?
I'm telling you that the transition between consciousness is exchanged when you wake up to your true identity. A more updated Christ that we are 2025 years ago in comparison to now is a different Christ, but it's the same Christ.
You working it. You trying to work it.
I done worked it. I done worked it.
You trying to work it, Pastor.
So now here I
Trying to
am.
work it.
Here I am at the store, and this man, one of the guys that, you know, they done put everything on the computer. This man is standing there, and he's not standing, he's on his knees, and he's putting stock on the shelves. And I turned and I looked at him. Bosch makes blades to go in my saber saw. And when I brought it to him, I wanted a longer blade to cut through metal. And he told me, he said, any one of these Bosch products that you get in blades that's for a saber saw will work. It has on the package, made to cut steel, heavy steel, or light metal. He said either one of them are cut, but they cut different material. Let me tell you something. The Christ in you, that is all of us in one essence, is cutting through the monkey mind of that voice in the head. But there must be a voice in the head in order to have something for the Christ mind to cut through.
So I think we go in and out of the wilderness, Pastor Norman.
That's the wilderness.
We go in and out of the wilderness, in and out of
dark
seasons.
night of the soul.
He said the devil left him for a season.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So go in and out of seasons where the voice in the head is really loud and strong, and we have to do exactly as Jesus did, come through that season, coming out in power, because we no longer believe in that voice in the head.
You got to have the right.
That's going to happen throughout our lives, I do believe, because the conditioning that we've been through from the time we came into this world has been, it is very, very thick. It's very dense.
If you're going to have good barbecue. Go ahead.
No, I just said you just got to pull back the layers. There's many layers.
There's many layers.
That's the burger.
Yes.
Oh, he go get that burger again. Lord.
Each time you go through that season, this is very important, because each time you go through one of those seasons and you come out realizing who you are versus what that voice in the head says, you come out in power.
Now we understand in cooking. I understand. Wait a minute.
Hungry?
No, I'm just telling you, I'm using this. This is what come up. If you're gonna make good barbecue sauce, you got to know how to put the right amount of seasoning in it.
There you go.
all about that.
That's why I'm talking about it.
Yeah, but why are you talking about food?
I'm saying it because these are metaphors. These are things that
That's
help
your
us.
all your analogies again. Where you at? Wait a second.
So you're gonna use me as an analogy now.
Ah, what you gonna say?
Make it good, Dad. Make it good.
I'm gonna say,
What kind of season you gonna put in it?
no.
I'm messing with him now. I'm messing with him. He's messing with us.
Yeah, it made my ears ringing.
That is a mess. Look, we'll be back on Sunday, you guys. I hope you got something out of this. We certainly got something out of it. I did. I don't know about you,
I
Pastor.
did.
Yeah, it helps me. It helps all of us. I actually feel a little bit better since we had this talk. And we hope to see you guys on Sunday between Pastor Norman will be at 9 on Facebook, and we will be there at 10 on Facebook and YouTube. Hope to see you there. Stay cool, stay safe, and also be mindful of the fact there are still some COVID cases going around. Be mindful of that. And I had to be tested yesterday, as a matter of fact. And I'm negative, thank God. But there are some cases going around, so be aware of that. Wear your mask if you have to. If you start to sneezing and carrying on, wear a mask to protect everybody else from y'all. Now, John said, catch y'all on the turnaround. That's his favorite thing, John.
I'll see you on the turnaround.
See you on the turnaround. Bye, guys. We'll see you next time.
Good night.